Today is January 29th. Today is January 25th, and it is the official first day of NAMM. Hey everyone, back again. I'm here with Tony, who works at a lovely company called Soundtoys. We're going to talk about it. What you might find out might surprise you, so stay tuned. How would you explain what Soundtoys does to maybe someone like my dad who doesn't know anything?
Well, Soundtoys is a software company that makes musical processing software that are reminiscent of like the golden age of vintage analog gear, where we take the most interesting gears and we model them and we try to spin them into a modern, fresh take. So somebody who just wants to pick up a laptop and use GarageBand or Logic and want to start making music and get some of that vintage studio sound with like echo, delay, saturation, EQs, to have that classic studio analog color sound. And they can use our product, our entire Soundtoys 5 bundle. It comes with 22 plugins, so you can use any of them to beef up your music however you want. And they're super creative, so it's as easy as adding in something like Effect Rack, which is our product that contains 14 effects within one rack, and it comes with a bunch of presets that you can just sit there, scroll, play some guitar, scroll, tweak some knobs, and you're like, I love this. Yeah.
Well, I love that. And I love you, Tony.
Thank you. I love you.
Aw. He loves me, he said.
I love everyone.
This is the happiest I've been today.
I'm sorry.
Well, you mentioned a lot of cool features. I'm wondering, what to you personally do you feel like is the coolest feature, and to your customers, like when you're talking to them, they're like, oh man, this is awesome.
Yeah. The coolest feature is that our product has been featured on hits like Just Dance by Lady Gaga. We just had Ryan Gilligan, who is an engineer for Kanye, and Joni Mitchell, and works on some of her mixes. You know, we've got a lot of industry professionals for the past 2 decades that swear by our stuff. And that's what I personally love about our company, is that whatever studio you go into that's making the hottest tracks at the moment, and you ask the engineer, hey, what plugins do you want us to install for your computer? They're probably going to say Soundtoys, one or another.
I can confirm. So I actually asked a panel of engineers, mix engineers, producers, who should I speak to when I go to NAMM? You guys were top of the list. So you're doing your job. He's doing his job. Give him a promotion.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I'm wondering, so you talked about really top artists, top engineers. Is that your customer base, or do you feel like it covers a more wider set, a more narrow set? Explain who would be the ideal user for this product.
Everyone is welcome. Our plugins are designed for, like you said, if your dad wanted to buy a computer and start working on music, that's the perfect bundle to start with, because it's got presets that anybody who don't know anything about music can just literally go through the presets, play some sound, and see how the preset reacts to the music. Or if you're somebody who is a geek and really knows the ins and outs about audio engineering, especially somebody who might come from a studio analog mindset, they'll look at our product and they'll see a lot of familiar faces in our product inspirations. For example, we bring in emulations from EMT 140 plate reverb into our super plate and little plate, and we bring in stuff like the little Primal Tap, and Little Primal Tap is one of our fan favorite delay plugin, and it is based on some of the favorite Lexington primetime delays. So a lot of people from all ages might find our plugins suitable for any kind of production, mixing, creative processing, even film music. We know a lot of people use it. So it's really like, Soundtoys kind of says in the name, it's fun, it's sound, it's toys. It's up to you. So some engineers might use toys to create professional projects, and somebody like me who is just a music passionate lover, and I produce a little bit, and I just want a great set of tools, but I know enough about music, but not like I'm not up there or anything, but I feel like I still can get so much out of the package just by going through the presets. So yeah, like I said, presets are easy to use in our plugins. All the knobs are super intuitive, and it's one of those things where you treat it like a toy. You got to play with it, and no matter how well knowledge you are, sometimes you might find something that you have never seen before each time you go back to it.
I love that, and I think the concept of play is really important here. As I walk around, I love seeing, the vibrant outfits or like really cool booths or anything like that, or these eggs over here that people could sit in. I mean, we have eggs. I think it's really important, especially in this industry, to embrace fun.
For sure.
And
That's why we do this.
Embrace play. Right. You want to speak on that?
Oh yeah. So I think I went to school for music for 4 years, and it was great. But part of it was once you try to take the magic away from it, once you understand what's behind the magic, you lose a little bit of fun. So what I like about Soundtoys is that there's a lot of magical things happening under the hood, and this magic was preserved from the golden days of studio engineering when people had, not a lot of tools, but they had to make a lot of fun effects with what they had. So they were using gears that were in a way they were not supposed to use the gear. For example, auto-tune famously was birthed because somebody were using a harmonizer in a way that wasn't supposed to be used, and there you go. And I feel like a lot of our Soundtoys product, I can use it in ways that it wasn't designed to be used, and it comes out with effects that will blow my mind just by, oh wow, I didn't think I can do this, but yeah, I can, and it sounds like fun. And it's just, the more I play with it, the happier I get, and the more happier I get, the better music I make, and it's all self-feeding.
I love that. One more question. Is there anything else we haven't covered? Do you want to talk about anything we haven't covered yet?
Well, send us prayers because Super Played from Soundtoys is up for the TEC Tech Awards on Saturday night so hopefully we win. And for those of you who love our product but haven't had a chance to try it yet, Soundtoys products, all of our plugins have a 30-day free demo. So just make sure that you download that free trial and give it a try.
You hear it first. Get a laptop, get Logic, then buy Soundtoys. That's it. And then you're good. Maybe even famous right away. So no guarantee, but it's probably possible.
Hey, you never know. You never know. And if I'm on a deserted island, I don't know why I would be on a deserted island with a laptop, but I would hope that Logic and Soundtoys is installed.
I think so. Well, Tony, thank you. You did great.
You did great.
Soundtoys, NAMM, Play, Tony, Michael J. Morgan, 2024. Good night. I'm here with one of the most difficult to pronounce names in all of NAMM. We have Hannes at Oeksound. I'm here, I did it. NAMM 2024. We're gonna learn about what they do. So let's do that. Here we are, nice to meet you, nice to see you.
Thank you.
First question for you. Let's say my dad was here, he came up to your booth. Would definitely struggle to pronounce the name for sure.
Okay.
And then he would say, well, what do you guys do? He doesn't play music. He doesn't know anything about any of this. What would you tell him?
Well, the shortest answer I can come to think of is our products fixes problems in audio, and that is especially true for our first products. And now with our new product, Bloom, we also go into an area of we enhance or we let you shape your sound. But yeah, we fix harshness, we fix mouth clicks, and we now also fix balance in sound.
I think he would get that. I think he would. Do you think he would get that? I think so. So you have a few products, and you're releasing a new product called Bloom. What would you say is the feature, people that are coming to visit, you know, they see the computer and you see those big smiles on customers' faces when they see a specific feature or try a certain thing, turn something on or off. What would you say that like standout feature is, either for customers or even for you?
One thing that I noticed a lot with how users react to our stuff is that this is just my point of view, but it seems like they feel our products understand them, that understand that what the user is going for, and help them get there a lot faster because of their adaptive nature and how they analyze the incoming signal and actually apply corrections or enhancements depending on that. Is because we're all musicians and engineers in the company, we go through that thought process ourselves. And I mean, we've never released a product that I wouldn't use in the studio every day, and I use our stuff every day. So I think that is something that resonates and comes through for everyone that comes here, that they notice that, hey, this is doing exactly the thing I wanted it to do, as long as they understand what they need, their own needs.
Love that. You spoke about customers, you spoke about situations. I'm wondering, like, is there an ideal customer for your product, and is there an ideal situation even to use your product? Is there one? Is there multiple? If there are multiple, let's hear about it.
Yeah, when we started, so our first product was Soothe, which with its second version, Soothe 2, became quite popular. When I started, I've been with the company since the beginning. I thought our ideal customer was the mixing engineer, was the pro mixing engineer that knows exactly what these FFT-based plugins are doing and can do. But it turns out when I then went and showed this to mixing engineers and they started using it, it just spread to everyone. And the demographic spread, and now we have veteran producers, DIY artists, and recording engineers, posts, sound designers. Suddenly that just like went to everyone. But in the company, we're mainly engineers, like recording and mixing engineers, producers, songwriters, DJs, and live mixing engineers. So those are the first people we make it for, and then it turns out that a lot of other people also need the same tools.
Yeah, it seems like anyone that has audio could try to run it through and see what happens, really. And is there anything else we haven't covered about the products, the company, anything that you want to let people know about at home? Any announcements, anything people should know?
Yeah, I mean, for this year's NAMM, I mean, we announced it yesterday, our new product, Bloom. It's our first studio product in 4 years, so the first plugin we have released since Soothe 2. And it's an adaptive tone shaper. And I'll just, like, the shortest kind of way to explain it is that it analyzes the incoming signal and applies corrections to the perceived tonal balance. And all changes are adaptive, dynamic, so it's very much context aware and very aware of what's happening in the audio. So all these changes that you would use maybe a lot of other plugins for, multiband compressors, EQs, dynamic EQs, and other things, this one should take you a long way with only this one plugin, and that's Bloom.
Exciting, and it seems like there's obviously challenges, but there's definitely a lot of opportunity and optimism and excitement for the future. So thank you so much, Hannes, Oek, NAMM, Michael J. Morgan, Pro Audio. I'm here with the second coolest guy wearing glasses at the NAMM convention. I'm the second coolest, and I'm also here with the first coolest. His name's Gibbs, and we're going to talk about a little organization called AES. So Gibbs, how would you explain what AES is to someone who's never heard of them?
So the first time somebody asks about AES, I tell them my initial experience at a convention in New York was I walked in and heard somebody talking about a concept that was so far over my head, I lasted like 5 minutes. I stayed there, but I had no idea what they're talking about. About 5 years later, I saw a manufacturer implementing what I had heard that doctorate level researcher talk about 5 years earlier. And then 5 years after that, I was buying that product. So over the span of time at AES conventions or conferences or virtually, you find people that think of things that it's like one of those products you would say, how come I didn't think of that? But they think of it at such a high level because they're doctoral researchers. Then manufacturers get a hold of that and actually make it into something that can be used for record producer, mix engineers, for live, for whatever it might be, for this microphone, the connection that's made to it, any of that stuff. That's really what the AES is, and it's a standards organization. So this connection to this microphone is a standard, and it's a standard that it is made by AES.
Wow. You mentioned a lot of really cool things about AES, but I'm curious, like, what would you say the absolute coolest thing about AES is?
For me, I've been able to interact with people I would never be able to interact with having been part of AES. From legendary engineers to current producers, music makers. We've had 2 interviews back to back with Phineas, and then we had Jackson Brown, and then we had keynotes from Jack Antonoff, and like people that I wouldn't just, pick up the phone and call. But now through AES, we've been organizing and having them come and speak and get to talk to them and meet these people and ask them questions that where else are you going to be able to do that? Yeah.
And this is such an industry that relies on connection and community, and it's hard to find it. So that's really incredible. Thinking about who might want to join AES or attend events or contribute or donate, who is that ideal person? Is it someone new starting out, or the seasoned professionals? Is it anyone? Who would you say those people are?
Well, back to the earlier example, if you're at the doctoral level or post-grad level and you want to get a paper published, because getting published is a big deal, you can do that through the journal, the JAES. It's got to get submitted and peer reviewed. There's different levels of papers that could be submitted. Then you also have students. So going from people that are going down that path. The e-library and the video library, sorry professors, but it's got every answer to every test question you're going to ask. So if they've joined AES, they can go into the e-library, research anything that they're getting asked at school, and probably find the person that wrote the paper that's about the topic that their teacher is teaching them about, because that all then comes into the AES because they either get reviewed by a technical committee or by peer review paper or any of that stuff, and it's all there captured in the e-library. So that's students. Manufacturers being part of AES because they want to reach the people that are on the doctoral. This is where they all come together, right? Like my example of somebody coming up with an idea 5 years later and a manufacturer creates that. So the manufacturers and the people thinking of these amazing things all connecting in one place, that would be AES.
So it's really the place everyone's coming together and really contributing to the discipline of audio, moving it forward. Is there anything else about AES that you haven't covered that you think is really worthwhile? There's going to be people watching at home wondering about it. Anything you didn't cover?
I would say if you do anything related to audio, even if you only get to a couple of events per year. I'm in the San Francisco section, specifically San Jose, but San Francisco Bay Area. We have 11 events. We already had one this week, and it's only January 25th. And we've got another one coming up We have a studio crawl in September where all the studios in the Bay Area are open all day, and you can go studio to studio to studio and interact with people. And then we have an after party. I mean, for an audio engineer at any live studio, manufacturer, software designer, coming together through your local section, and they're all over in pretty much every major city, or even if you just go to the convention, making that connection inspires me throughout the whole year.
Wow. I will definitely be attending at the Javits Center in New York. Will you be there?
8th through the 10th, October.
October 8th through the 10th. Well, Gibbs, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. There's some really good insights. Absolute pleasure. Signing off with AES, Gibbs, Michael J. Morgan, Life, NAMM, 2024. Bye. I'm here with the two lovely ladies at We Are Moving the Needle. We just met about 15 seconds ago, and I'm going to ask them some questions about what they do, what they're offering, and the pro audio industry. First question. How would you explain what you do to someone who might be very confused by it?
We Are Moving the Needle is a nonprofit that is expanding gender equity in pro audio for producers and for engineers. We Are Moving the Needle connects people with continuing education resources, with scholarships, opportunities. They sent me to mix with the Masters last year. Anna Noor has done events with them. We both went to soundcheck at the Hollywood Bowl for Brandi Carlile and friends. Got to work with front of house, and yeah, they give money and opportunities to people who have historically and statistically less access in this world, because we're deeply underrepresented.
And now pan to the crowd.
How many women do you see?
Spot the woman. We found one.
Over there.
Oh yeah, right there. There's two.
Oh, two.
We found two.
There's a few.
What'd you say the coolest thing that you guys do is? Absolute coolest thing.
From what I've experienced with We Are Moving the Needle is it's always there to give women opportunities, and I think the coolest thing about We Are Moving the Needle is that it creates a community and a safe space for people to, grow and feel safe to ask questions that may sound stupid but aren't really stupid, because that's how I started too. So
I have something to ask. Something I've forgotten all the sound bites that I've given to the creepy men in Tom Petty hats is also there's a mentorship component. Our soundboard is the board of, some are on the board of the nonprofit, and then some are people who are just connected to the organization, and it runs the gamut of professional audio engineers who you may not have name recognition for, to people like Alanis Morissette, Brandi Carlile, all people that we work with directly, and they offer mentorship to people in our community as well, so that we have, there's so few women and non-men for us to point to and say, I want to be like that person, that it's really a huge benefit to have those people who are household names, but people who have done it, who've experienced it, to be able to help you and give guidance along the way. So that's a huge benefit. Once you work with We Are Moving the Needle in some capacity, they then many times connect you to a mentor through that program as well.
Well, ladies, thank you for moving the needle. Hi, all. I'm with HeilSound. And Dave. And Dave's here, and he's going to tell us about HeilSound. Hey, Dave.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going well. Let's get into it. How would you explain what HeilSound does to someone that would have no clue about the audio industry or anything like that? I like to think of my dad. He walks up here, he comes to the booth, he sees the microphones, and he assumes you just make microphones, and he walks away. How would you explain to him what you guys do that's unique and also in a relatable way?
Well, first off, HeilSound has a long-standing tradition in the music business, so rock and roll is kind of where we were bred. Bob Heil, the originator, was doing live sound for bands like The Who, The Grateful Dead, really kind of invented the modern PA system, so that loud rock and roll sound. Now, the technology and everything has evolved over the years. There's been ham radio products and amateur radio, and then the Pro line microphones. So that's what we do, is we make the microphones that sound good. They sound just a little bit better than everybody else's. And for me, I've been using them so much that what I love is that it allows the people using the microphones to actually just do what they do. Not be good at using a microphone, but great at singing, great at speaking. And it just makes everything sound as good as you want it to.
Yeah, it's a great point. You know, I think a lot of people will pick up a microphone, hold it 10 feet away from them, or hold it in different positions and not understand that it changes the sound at all. That's what you're saying. It really helps to correct for that.
Right. A lot of HeilSound microphones are going to be built in, they're built in such a way that a lot of the common problems when people grab a hold of the mic like this, we have technology that allows that to not become such a big problem. And so maybe you don't have to be super technical and know what you're doing. The microphone is going to take care of things. It's going to make you sound good.
Great. I think you covered this, but I'd love to know, are there any standout features of any one of the mics, things that, you know, either are typically the reason why people buy them or why they're excited when they hear about them, or when they're surprised that they had no idea that it could do such an interesting thing?
So one of the best things is what we call rear rejection. So when you're putting a microphone, pointing it towards something, you want to hear that sound, but probably not a bunch of other sounds. The way that the microphone capsules are placed inside the mic, it automatically rejects the sound that's coming from the back side. So what that will help with is when you're putting them on a drum set or you're speaking and you've got two people or two singers close to each other, each mic is only going to get pretty much what you were intending to have happen. That's a game changer because that allows you to actually capture the sound that you wanted, and it's going to sound really good on the back end, especially if you have to go in and edit and tweak some things. The quality will be there so that you can manipulate it if you need to. That's what I like about it.
Great. I'd love for you to speak on the capsules we saw before. You were mentioning are removable, and you could add to existing units.
Yeah, so we're really excited about this. May I? This is the RC37 capsule. Now, when you've got a wireless microphone, you spend a lot of money on these. They cost a lot, but you want to upgrade them, but you can actually just upgrade the microphone part. Everything down here is just the battery and the antenna. So all of this up here can be switched out on several different bases that you may already have, so you can upgrade the mic, get a better sounding microphone. Another thing that these will do is, a common thing is grabbing the mic. Like you said, it's ported down here, so it's going to still be a clean sound. And if you go to HeilSound.com, you can watch some videos and see the demo on how all that works. But if you've got a bunch of old wireless bases, instead of having to spend thousands of dollars to replace them, you can just put new capsules on there. Sound perfect.
That's exciting. I'm really curious because you were mentioning, live sound, PA, you talked about miking instruments. I'm wondering, who are the ideal customers for this product, and what are the ideal situations or settings for this product?
Okay, so for everybody from live sound engineers, so people who run the sound for major concerts, also a singer-songwriter, anywhere that you want to have clean sound, that you're able to reproduce what you would actually hear in person, without having a whole bunch of extra technical issues and a bunch of noise and making things complicated. So anywhere you want to hear it is a good idea. Good idea for our products. I use them through podcasting and broadcasting, so they're great on spoken word, drum kits, guitar cabinets, even the local karaoke bar. Probably sound a little bit better. And we all know karaoke can be a soul destroyer. So if you can at least make the mic sound a little bit better, I mean, why wouldn't you want to do that? I don't think that's what they wanted me to say, but I'll talk about karaoke if we have to.
Yeah, really important question following up that. What is your go-to karaoke song?
Boy, it really depends on the room. I think that if I have a partner, I really think it has to be Meatloaf, Paradise by the Dashboard Light. I think that's one of the best karaoke songs. Yeah.
Great. Excellent answer. And now, would you be willing to perform maybe the entire first verse for us?
No.
Great answer. Is there anything else we didn't cover about Heil mics, the microphones, or HeilSound, the company, that you'd like to mention?
There are some really cool stories about the origins of HeilSound and in some of the best days of rock and roll. If you think about The Who and The Who's Next tour, that was HeilSound that was deafening people over the years. There's a podcast called 50 Years of Maximum Rock and Roll that I sat down with Bob Heil, our founder, and just finally got him to sit down and tell some of the stories about working with these legendary artists and what that was like. And also some really good tips for somebody who's coming up that wants to be in the artist support arena. Maybe you're not a musician, but you want to be in live sound or work around music. Go check out that podcast, because you'll hear a guy who really invented a lot of the stuff just talking about how and why they did it. So that's worth checking out.
Would you be willing to briefly share maybe one of the highlights from that? One key story that really exemplifies the brand.
So the Who album Quadrophenia, rock opera, legendary piece. And in the early days before that was written, it was after the Who's Next tour, and Pete Townsend called Bob Heil, who had been handling their live sound, called him over to his house in London and wanted to talk to him about some things. And as they were leaving, he said, "Bob, could you build a PA that would put all four of our voices in each corner of the room?" Well, at the time, Bob, that technology did not exist, and he wasn't really sure how they do it, but he said, "Yeah, Peter, I think we could do that." So Peter said, "Great, I'm working on a piece, and I'll go ahead and finish the project if we can do that, because I only want to finish this if we can do it live." So Bob said, "Sure." Then he decided to go out and figure out how to build that. But that piece that he was working on happened to be Quadrophenia. So the moral of it really is, as a person, even if you're not the artist, even if you're not the creative person, having that open spirit, that mindset of like, I'm going to find a way to make this work. I'm going to help you with your creative vision. I'm going to use my creativity to help spur yours on. You never know what you might set into motion. So always say yes.
Wow. And I think it also speaks to Heil's integrity as a brand and doing what's right and what sounds best for their products and for the audience that uses it. I love toys, and I love Dave, and I love sound, and I love HeilSound, and I also love purple. I have purple shoes. How about those?
Talk about, man.
That's right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Love it, man. All right.
I'm here with NAMM of the great SafariPedals. And we're going to talk all things SafariPedals and Pro Audio. And I hope you like it. Hi, NAMM.
Hello.
So my first question for you is, what do you guys do?
That's a good question. So we do plugins that are basically all pedal shaped. The idea is to kind of break free from just like the normal way of doing things and kind of being wild and free. And that's why I call it SafariPedals as well. Just like kind of have this concept in my head of studio animals going wild, be a studio animal, go crazy, express yourself.
Amazing. I sometimes feel like a studio animal. I feel like this shirt's actually quite appropriate for this.
He's definitely a studio animal. True.
Not just in the studio. You have 9 products? 10 products. I don't want you to play favorites, but is there like something that when you even created it, your team created it, you saw it, you were like, this is the coolest thing?
I think my favorite one is the flamingo verb. First of all, it's fun to say. Flamingo. It's a fun animal. But also, I mean, the flamingo verb, which is right here. Yeah. One cool feature that we did in that plugin is when you twist the time knob, instead of changing the length of the time, it actually changes the IRs. So you get like a really springy sound if it's like a short decay. You get like a really long haul sound if it's all the way up to like long decay, which was really fun doing, and I like using it too.
And I like flamingos. And I'm assuming there are different animals on everyone? Or are there certain animals for certain reasons? How'd you choose the animals?
I could lie and say that like every animal has a very specific meaning, but the truth is, I'm just swinging it. There were some really cool and funny like how do you say like coincidences. Like for example, it's the dragon year in China, and we released the Dragon EQ on the 1st of January 2024. I didn't know that. And then I got an email from a Chinese guy, and he's like writing in Mandarin. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't speak Chinese. And he's like, oh, I'm sure you're Chinese because Dragon EQ. And I was like, what? How does that even relate? So, yeah, cool coincidences.
Speaking of other people, fans of the product, do you have an ideal customer in mind? Do you have a group of different types of people in mind who, like, if they got their hands on this, would be, they'd fall in love?
I think, like, in general, I'm kind of, if I'm honest, I'm just doing it for myself and hoping other people would like it as well. I think that, like, trying to suit it for other people is not the right approach, because I just want to have fun myself and do things that inspire me, and hopefully it inspires others too. So.
And so if we're going to psychoanalyze you for a second, I assume you're a studio animal as well?
I guess I am.
You hear that? You hear it first. What kind of qualities would you prefer the people that use these have?
That's a good question. I mean, anybody can obviously use it. I just think that the whole concept behind it is again like to be free and wild. So I'm hoping people use it in kind of more radicalism than normal plugins. So like don't turn the EQ down or up by a half a dB. Go wild, bro. Pull that thing up.
Pull that thing up. You know, one of my favorite parts about your booth is there's so much color here. I'm someone who loves color. My whole house is filled with color. You know, you look around, I'm not going to name names or anything because I can name 90% of the people here. Everything's black and white. Did you do that intentionally, or was it again were you just following what, you know, made you excited?
Yeah, again, I mean, that's like a really good observation because I feel the same way. And to me, it just felt like, why not bring the colors and why not, you know, do things a little different? So I'm happy that you noticed it. I will say though, shout out to Lindell Transformers. I don't know if you saw their booth. You should definitely check them out. They have the nicest banner. Like I envy their banner. So colorful and cool.
Is there anything else you'd like to add that we haven't covered about Safari? Anything you want people to know that haven't heard of you before, or maybe they have, and you just really want people to know?
Well, there's a 14-day trial on the website. You can try out any plugin you want, and the Everything Bundle is on sale right now if you want to get it. It's $100 for all of them, which I think is a pretty good deal. And even if you don't get them, be wild and free.
Great advice. You're really blowing my mind, and that was a great cupcake. Thank you for that. Great shoes, and all around great guy. So that's SafariPedals. This is NAMM. I'm Michael, and happy NAMM 2024. All right, we're live. While unfortunately today we did not find any aliens, we did get a little lucky and find a semi-believer, an owner, founder, creator, inventor of RoswellProAudio. First question right off the bat. Do you think aliens exist?
Absolutely.
All right, you heard it first. Well, that's all. Thank you so much. Let's say my dad was here, who doesn't know anything about music, and he comes here and he sees your microphones. He goes, "Oh, you make microphones." How would you explain what you do? What's unique?
Right.
How would you explain it to someone?
Right. That's a great question. The market is kind of flooded with microphones. Everything from a $99 dynamic mic intended for stage use, and they're great for that because you can drop these on the stage or in a bottle of beer and then kind of rinse them off and they'll still sound the same. What we make is different than that. These are studio condenser microphones, so they're designed to be used in recording studios. They are used on stage, but what you'll find in this very saturated market is that the vast majority of products priced under about $1,000 are imported whole from China, which in itself is not necessarily a bad thing. In too many cases, a side effect of that is, like the race to the bottom in terms of cost. And what happens when you shortchange the budget is you end up with a cheap product, and it doesn't sound good and it breaks and you can't get it fixed, and it might look nice. Sometimes that's the best thing it has going for it, is it looks really nice. But then you listen to it and I mean, it's an amazing thing for the industry that the technology has been commoditized to the point where anybody can make a record in their bedroom. Billie Eilish, for example. So that's an amazing thing. And that's one of the greatest things about the industry is that that's true. So it's amazing that the products are available to allow people to do that. The challenge is that a lot of these people who want to be producers but have no experience, it's hard to distinguish a good product from one that has a great marketing campaign, but you're paying way too much for what you get. So to answer your dad's question, what we try to do is build a better product than anybody else. And maybe everybody says that. I don't even know, because I don't go booth to booth and ask, but what we do is use historically proven designs. We source the best components in the world, and sometimes that means a brand new thing that we develop, and sometimes it means something that was made 30 years ago that are very difficult to find, but we've stockpiled the ones that we need because that's the right component that sounds best for what we're using it for. So we use fantastic components. We're really smart about circuit design, circuit layout. We fine-tune and optimize everything. We test relentlessly. We do all the assembly, testing, soldering, tuning in California. So you're not buying an imported mic, but we don't charge that much for it, mostly because we sell direct. So when you buy from us, you're not paying the distributor 20% and then the dealer 30%. So that way we can keep our prices lower than they would otherwise be. So it's more mic for the money. That's the intent, and I think we've achieved that. So
More mic for the money. That's what I always like to say. It's my name. Yeah. Get him laughing. We'll do this again. More mic for the money. That's what I like to say.
very nice.
Yeah. Anyway, this is going well. Are these all the microphones that you have? Or are these just a few? These are all of them. No, these are all of them. Are these all of them?
I would tell you more, but I don't have a microphone.
Oh.
Yeah, so there's two companies here, and to condense 15 years of history into 30 seconds or less, I started by building do-it-yourself microphone kits. And the idea was you can solder it together yourself and save a bunch of money, and you end up with a really nice product. It maybe doesn't have the fancy accessories and all of that, but it sounds great. And we have a specific case of that where we sent one of our $400 mic kits to a very, very famous producer who's worked with a bunch of big names, and he said, this sounds like it cost $5,000. And I thought, wow, so $389 sounds like $5,000. That's pretty good leverage. So we started doing the DIY kits, and then a lot of people asked me to build it for them, and I thought, well, there must be a market for this. So let's figure out a way to produce the same kinds of microphones as a finished product and do that. So that's what RoswellProAudio is. The other company is called microphoneparts.com or Mic Parts, and which is a great search term, microphoneparts.com. It's a terrible brand name, which I knew going in, but I wasn't concerned because I wasn't going to put the name on the mic. So ironically, now we do. But that's how it started, and that's how we ended up.
Wow. I really love your commitment to keeping costs low and keeping quality high. That's really admirable. I feel like it's very easy to jack up the prices when the quality gets good. But in a world where things are becoming more democratized, having great quality products in people's bedrooms is really, aspirational and inspiring. So thank you for doing that. I'm wondering, what would you say the coolest feature of your mic is, or one of the mics? When customers come up to you and they just go like, I love this about, this microphone or whatever, what would you say it is?
So picking just one, we came out with a new microphone, I think 2 years ago, and it's called the Mini Case 67X, which is this one. And the X stands for transformer. But what that microphone does is it creates harmonic saturation. So in this industry, people revere microphones from 50 years ago. They're difficult to find. They're usually not well taken care of. They're very expensive. I'm talking $20,000, $30,000 in some cases. But you can boil the reasons that people revere those mics down to a couple of specific sonic characteristics. And one of them is transient compression, which means when a loud spike of sound comes through, it gets softened a little bit. And the other is harmonic saturation, which means when you put in a certain sound, you get a little bit of a sound that's an octave above that. It's at a very low level, so it's not like the microphone's performing harmonies. It's not like that. But it thickens the sound in a way that is it's a characteristic that people seek out when they're doing, especially vocal production, but can apply to anything. So anyway, we came up with a circuit to do that. It used to require vacuum tubes and other sorts of, well, vacuum tubes was a big piece of it, but that means a power supply, and we can do that. We do that, but it's the hardest way to do that. So we found a way to build an analog saturation circuit into this at a sub $500 price point, which is pretty unheard of, especially considering all the stuff I said before about the quality of components and design and all that stuff. So I would say that's one of the most interesting things that we've done.
Sounds out of this world. There's a variety of mics here, and I assume that they're not all used for one thing. I know that you can use a microphone for a lot of things. Some things I can't even talk about. And I'm wondering...
Is there B-roll for that joke?
Yeah, there will be footage. What situations or settings do you feel like these mics are best for, or are certain ones better for certain things?
Yeah. That is actually an incredibly astute question. Here's my least favorite email that I get all the time. What's your best mic? Like the idea that I have one good one and the rest are kind of trash, but it's a secret? I don't understand that at all. The thing is, the best mic is completely situational. Is it the loud part of the chorus or the quiet part of the verse? And it's not male versus female, and it's not gospel versus R&B versus hard rock or what. So it's not a genre, it's not a gender. It has to do with the voice, the shape of the throat, the person, the energy in the performance, and the room as well. So all of these mics can be used for a lot of different things. And if people ask me, and I would encourage anyone watching to reach out, because this is what I do all day, is answer emails like, here's my situation, what would you recommend? Now, I can't tell you what you're going to like to hear, because I'm missing two things that only you have that I'll never have, which are those things on the side of your head, your ears. I can't hear what you hear, okay? But I can tell you that, if you wanted a sax mic, this sax player liked that one. If you want drum overheads, if you want vocals, right? So I can steer you towards certain things. All of these mics sound different. That's another kind of unique thing about us. There are many other mic companies that have 4 or 5 mics and they kind of all sound the same. But all of these sound different, which means they all excel at different things. It's not a good, better, best, except within a situation. Like if you want to do voiceover, I would say that one, because we've sold a lot to voice artists and they love it. And they love it better than mics that cost 2 or 3 times as much. But other mics for other sources. So it's a really good question, and the answer is usually it depends. What's the best for this? Well, that depends. I mean, it depends on budget and your room and other things. And the danger there is that it feels unknowable. Like, I'll never figure out what the best mic is because it's too complicated. Well, that's where I try to help. So,
is there anywhere people could go to try these mics out?
The pump pro.
We should. That's the hard thing. The best place to try a mic is in your own room, on your own voice, guitar, horn, whatever it is, right? That's difficult to do. We tried to do a showroom thing where we had studios in LA and New York and places, and to an extent we do. We have a couple where if you're nearby, we can set you up and you go in, spend an hour, try the mics. But maybe 5% of the country's population lives within driving distance of one of these places. So what we have is a return policy. So you buy the mic, you try it for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then you send it back. And then on your own voice or source, whatever it is, whether it works for you. And then we can try to recommend something else. Like if you say, I tried this and it didn't work, then I'd say, what didn't you like? Well then let's try this one, or refund, or whatever makes sense.
Another out of this world answer. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Aliens, Roswell, and Pro Audio. It's been a pleasure. Well, I found the closest brand name to my own brand. Meet Stratus, not to be confused by Status, but I think they're just as cool. And we're talking with Landon. Hey, Landon.
How are you doing?
Doing well. How would you explain what Stratus does to someone like my dad, who doesn't know anything about pro audio or music really? What would you tell him your product does?
Well, first of all, it's great to meet you. Thanks for stopping by. Stratus, if you're familiar with guitar pedals, you'll know that either you need a big briefcase-sized multi-effects rig, or you have to get a bunch of individual guitar pedals and chain them together on a pedal board. What our product does is it takes the same processing power that's in that briefcase-sized multi-effects rig, compacts it down into a pedal the size of a standard analog pedal, but doesn't limit you to one effect at a time. You can chain a bunch of different audio effects together. Distortion chained into reverb, chained into whatever you like. You can totally configure the way that this sounds. It replaces the need for a giant pedal board or a big briefcase-sized multi-effects rig.
That's great. I'm very curious, like, who is this designed for? Is there one specific type of instrumentalist, performer? Is it for live? Is it for studio? Is it for guitarists, bassists? Is it for everyone or some people? Just who is the ideal customer, and what's that ideal scenario that you would recommend someone purchase this product?
Yeah, so Tone Shop is kind of our primary focus. What Tone Shop is a marketplace for all of the algorithms that we create, either for ourselves or in partnership with other companies that already make guitar pedals. I like to call Stratus the Tone Shop processor. Stratus is great for anyone who wants to add all of those different sounds in a compact way to their existing pedal board, or for beginner to intermediate guitarists who are just getting into guitar effects, who want a super easy to use and versatile way to get the sound that they're after without, one, breaking the bank, and two, having to deal with learning how to set up all of that traditional equipment that might traditionally need to buy to get the sounds of their favorite artists. It's great for living room use. You simply plug your guitar into Stratus, plug Stratus into an amp, and now you have 3 million different tone possibilities. There's a looper built in as well, and it grows with you with MIDI control. You can hook a MIDI controller up to this and then swap between sounds live. But I would say Stratus is definitely for those who want a way to add all of our incredible Tone Shop algorithms to their pedal board for live performance, or to their desktop for really easy use.
And I always love to know, like, what is that one standout feature that when people try it, see it for the first time, or you tell them about it, people are blown away? I'd love to know kind of what stands out the most to you.
So what's interesting about Stratus, and the number one comment that we get, is how simple it looks. There's only one knob that has a switch built in, and there's another foot switch as well. So in itself, the LED strip kind of acts as the user feedback mechanism, whether you're turning your effects on and off, engaging a looper. But you might ask, how do I configure my effects? Stratus actually has Bluetooth connectivity, and if you don't mind holding this, the way that it works is we have a mobile app on Android and iOS. You use the mobile app to configure and set up your chain. It's super easy to do. You simply download the effects that you like from Tone Shop here. We have 35 available right now, 33 of which are free. And then you build out the chain how you want in the app, and you can save these as presets for easy recollation, if that's a word, later. So that's the top feature. Anybody who picks this up immediately understands how to use this because of how simple our mobile app is, and it negates the need for a giant screen or tons of knobs and switches on Stratus, which keeps it super compact.
It also has a clicky button.
Very clicky, yeah.
Here you go. Is there anything else we haven't covered about Stratus, about the app, about the product that you think people should know about?
I would say that we're rapidly growing. So we're a super small company. A lot of times I talk to people and they assume that we're large just because of the technology that we've built, but we're actually very small still. Super small team. We've only existed for about 3.5 years. We launched Stratus on Kickstarter in 2021, and we raised about $150,000. But Stratus is just the beginning. We're really focused on building out our Tone Shop marketplace, where you can download other companies' products, and then that will help supplement all of the new hardware plans we have in the future. Stratus is step one. We have plans to expand not only Stratus's functionality, but to introduce new hardware products that are tailored towards different segments in the market that build upon our ease of use and the technology that we've created in the form of the Chaos Audio app and the processing power that's inside Stratus.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great points. Great guy. Shout out to Landon. We love him. Stratus, Landon, Status, NAMM, 2024, Michael, and Pedals. Well, we spoke to Soundtoys before, and now we're speaking to Soundflow. Not the same company, not even the same people, but I think they're just as rad. But I'm not 100% sure, and we're going to find out. So I'm speaking with Kitch, and he's going to tell us a little bit about Soundflow, and I'll judge for myself whether they're a keeper or not. If my dad were here today, he doesn't know anything about music, a little bit about computers, and he kind of knows how to navigate an iPhone, and he came here and saw this, he would be very confused. And he would say, wait, what is this thing? How would you explain Soundflow to him?
Well, first of all, it'd be lovely to meet your dad. And I think I would say to him that Soundflow is a workflow automation platform for creatives. So it's designed to keep musicians, mix engineers, producers, or any creative people in the creative flow. So making you create more and click less, because we're often finding ourselves diving into menus on DAWs and stuff that it just takes time and it takes us away from what we're trying to do. So yeah, that's what I'd say to your dad.
And that's hence the name Soundflow. I feel like there's a lot of buttons, and with a lot of buttons usually comes cool features. I'm wondering, where do you find, when people come up to this booth, what are they saying is the coolest feature? The coolest possible thing that you could show someone that would just blow their mind?
Well, there's too many to mention, but I will mention a few. A lot of producers and mix engineers, they have to open plugins all the time. So we have plugin loaders that we can, with one click of a button on the Stream Deck device, we're able to open the plugin on the selected track that they have. We've also got things like Bounce Factory that was done by mix engineer Andrew Sheps, which allows you to bounce your mixes in your sleep. So you can set up all the different stems that you want to bounce out, hit one button, come back the next morning, you've had a nice sleep, and it'll say that your mixes are ready for you. So that's probably one of the favorites.
Which leads me to my next question. Do you think Andrew Sheps has a firm or soft mattress when he sleeps?
Well, in conversations I've had with Andrew, he still thinks that he's 1 inch taller than me, but I don't know about that. But I would say that he sleeps on a firm mattress, definitely a firm mattress.
And what about you?
Firm mattress all the way.
And firm mattress right here. I feel like there's a lot of people that could use your tools. You're saying creatives, musicians, producers, mix engineers. Is there like an ideal customer you're building new feature sets for, or is it really for anyone?
Well, specifically for NAMM this year, we've introduced a package called the Logic Pro package, which helps mix engineers, producers, composers, and creatives that use Logic Pro. And it comes with over 1,400 pre-made scripts and macros and presets for them to get started really quickly. So, yeah, definitely.
I think there's a celebrity sighting over here. Looks like Christian. Celebrity sighting right here. Wow. And I think now I know why it's called Soundflow, because look at that flow. Look at that flowy hair. Wow. That's where he gets it from.
I'm very jealous.
Same.
It's the hat.
Wow. What a beautiful man. Anyway, I'm wondering what situations do you feel like Soundflow would be most useful?
I feel that Soundflow is most useful when you want to stay creative. When getting from A to B, we've got so many steps. If you're mixing, producing, whatever it is, or composing, you often find if you have to do like 10 steps to get to the end of the process, that by the time you get to step 5, you've like forgotten what you want to do, or you've lost the vibe, and you just, so using Soundflow allows you to get those repetitive steps and get to where you want to be quickly, so you can stay creative.
Maybe my dad says I could use this to find a job. Am I right? Am I right?
I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. It won't help with that.
I'm not sure about that.
I wanted to thank you for helping people be more efficient.
Rock and roll. Thanks so much, Michael. I appreciate you stopping by the booth. Oh, and I like your shirt.
Oh, thanks. Soundflow, NAMM, 2024, Michael J. Morgan. Automation, buttons, workflow, efficiency. Good night. Good morning, NAMM. I just woke up from a nap at the Musicus booth, and I'm here to talk to Jay and Sung about their products and learn a little bit about what they're trying to do. Let's say my dad was here right now to NAMM. He doesn't play music. He doesn't know about pro audio. He comes to your booth. He sees a bed. He might think you make beds. He's going to ask, what do you do? How would you explain it to him?
Okay, this is a bunk bed style soundproof booth for students and living in an apartment. Yeah, because of the noise outside is a very annoying of neighborhoods. So we make this. And we came from South Korea, and South Korea people living in apartments. So we built this. The first floor is for the soundproofing room for studio or recording or something or YouTube, and second floor is for bed. Yeah, this is our product. Yeah.
So I actually got in trouble last night because we were playing music at 1:30 in the morning, and my neighbor knocked on my door. So we could have used that. So you're saying there's soundproofing on the floor here, up there, like around the whole thing, and then there's a bed up here. Wow, awesome.
So actually, it's all covered already, but we just opened for the show. So yeah.
Oh, this would be covered too.
Right, definitely, yeah.
So I keep my neighbors out. I'm wondering, I could see a lot of people finding this useful. Who would you say the ideal customers are for this product, and what scenarios would they find themselves in where they they really feel like they would need this product?
It's the same again. It's for the student or the person, young musician and person who living in an apartment. And it's a very small room. So, it is the main. Yeah,
so they are the main our customer who start their own music. So who want to make their own studio at their room, because kind of rent fee for the studio, it can be a struggle to them as well. So
This resonates with me because I am that person. I have my own studio at my home. My bed's in another place, but there's been times where the studio and the bed were in the same room, and this would be very helpful. Are there any other features like that someone wouldn't be able to see that are really exciting, that when people learn about it, they get very excited about? Maybe anything about the technology itself, or just something that's exciting to people?
It cut the 26 decibel, lower the sounds, and it is easy to assemble. It's maybe 1 hour to assemble all of things. And it also have a ventilation system and a very, very strong iron. So, 3-person on the bed, it is okay. And another thing, is this all.
Is there anything else? Thank you so much. Is there anything else that you haven't covered that you want people to know about? Maybe other products or other features about your products?
This product have a 6 color, red, blue, orange, yellow, white, black, and its fabric color is 2 color, black and white. And another thing is the mattress size is full size. It is possible on the full size mattress. And another thing,
I reckon, so this product can stand about 250 kilos. So 3 guys on the top is quite sturdy. And then, what else? And and also, the people who want their own studio, they can make any atmosphere, the environment, the SAS1. And also, we got a certificate about the fire resistance as well. Fire resist, is it right? Sorry about it, because I don't know the proper English word now. That's right.
So the next time me and my buddies are in the studio, we could all fit up here and go to sleep. Great. Read a story to each other and go to sleep. Love that. Oh, hey. I appreciate you both. Jay, Sung, Musicus, the duet. Sleeping, NAMM, friends. I'm going back to bed. Thank you all. Have a good night.